The massive alien ship appeared over New York without warning. It simply materialized there one morning, hanging in the sky like a giant crystal snowflake, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Within hours, similar ships appeared over every major city on Earth. The world held its breath, waiting for what would come next. Captain Tom Walker stood at attention in the hastily prepared meeting room at the United Nations, his blue UN Defense Force uniform freshly pressed. He wasn't supposed to be here. He was just a regular military officer who happened to be in the right place at the right time, or perhaps the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on how this meeting went. The aliens had requested a meeting with Earth's leaders, and somehow Tom had ended up as part of the welcome committee. His hands were sweating, but he kept his face calm. 20 years of military service had taught him how to hide his nervousness. The door opened with a soft hiss. 3 tall figures entered the room, each at least 8 feet tall. They looked like walking crystals, their bodies semi-transparent and reflecting light in rainbow patterns. Their movements were smooth and graceful, almost like they were floating rather than walking. "We are the representatives of the Stellar Empire," the tallest one spoke in perfect English, though no mouth was visible. "We have come to discuss the terms of Earth's surrender." The room fell silent. Tom could hear his own heartbeat. The UN Secretary General, who sat at the head of the table, cleared his throat. "Surrender? We haven't even introduced ourselves properly. We were hoping for peaceful first contact." The crystal being made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Peace is possible, through submission to the Empire. Your world has been chosen for integration. Resistance would be unfortunate." Tom watched as the alien pulled out a small device, no bigger than a phone. A hologram appeared, showing various Earth cities. "Your weapons cannot harm us. Our shields are powered by technology you cannot comprehend. We have studied your military capabilities. You have no defense against us." To demonstrate, one of the aliens gestured, and a small force field appeared in the middle of the conference table. "Fire at it," they commanded. A security officer, after getting a nod from his superior, drew his pistol and fired. The bullet simply disappeared upon hitting the shield, not even leaving a ripple. "Even your most powerful weapons would have the same result," the alien stated. "We give you 48 Earth hours to prepare your surrender documents. After that, we will begin the integration process, with or without your cooperation." Tom stepped forward, his military training kicking in. "And if we refuse?" The alien turned its crystalline head toward him. The movement reminded Tom of a prism catching sunlight. "Then your species will learn why no civilization has successfully resisted the Empire in over 10,000 years. The hologram changed, showing scenes of planetary devastation. Worlds turned to ash and ruin. The message was clear. "We are not cruel," the alien continued. "Those who submit willingly are treated well. Your culture will be preserved in our archives. Your people will serve the Empire, and in return, you will receive our protection and technology. It is a fair exchange." Tom watched as the UN officials exchanged worried glances. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, but not like this. Not with an ultimatum. "We will await your response in our ship," the lead alien said. "Remember, 48 hours. Choose wisely." The 3 crystal beings left as smoothly as they had entered, leaving behind a heavy silence and the small force field device on the table, apparently as a reminder of their technological superiority. As emergency meetings were called and world leaders were contacted, Tom stood by the window, looking up at the alien ship. Its crystal surface caught the sunlight, sending rainbow reflections across the city. It was beautiful, but all he could think about was how humanity had just been backed into a corner. They had 48 hours to either surrender their independence or face extinction, and based on what he'd just seen, Tom wasn't sure they had any real choice at all. Their weapons were useless, their technology primitive in comparison. They needed a miracle. What he didn't know was that the miracle would come from the most unexpected place. but that was still a day away. Lieutenant Kate Miller slumped in her chair at the military research lab, staring at the alien force field device they'd been studying for the past 18 hours. Her eyes burned from lack of sleep, and empty coffee cups littered her desk. As one of the lead engineers at the UN Defense Forces Tech Division, she was supposed to find a weakness in the alien technology. So far, she had found exactly nothing. The device sat there, its shield humming quietly, mocking their efforts. They had tried everything: electromagnetic pulses, sonic waves, radiation, even good old-fashioned bullets. Nothing worked. The shield didn't even flicker. "I need a break," Kate muttered to herself, reaching for her favorite orange soda. It was a habit her colleagues made fun of. A military engineer who preferred sugary drinks to coffee. But right now, she didn't care. The world was ending in less than 30 hours, and she was going to enjoy her soda. As she popped open the can, it slipped from her tired hands. The orange liquid splashed across her desk, some of it hitting the alien device. Kate jumped up, cursing, reaching for paper towels, then froze. The shield was flickering. At first, she thought she was hallucinating from exhaustion. But no, there it was again. Where the soda had splashed against the force field, tiny disruptions appeared, like static on an old TV screen. "No way," Kate whispered. She grabbed another can of soda, her hands shaking with excitement. This time, she deliberately poured a small amount onto the shield. The same thing happened. The liquid caused visible distortions in the energy field. Kate ran to the lab's supply room, grabbing every different kind of carbonated drink she could find. Cola, lemon lime soda, energy drinks. She tested them all. Each one caused the same reaction, but some worked better than others. The ones with higher carbonation levels seemed to create stronger disruptions. "Dr. Roberts," she yelled, calling her supervisor who was dozing in his office. "You need to see this." The older scientist stumbled in, wiping sleep from his eyes. "What is it, Lieutenant?" "Watch this." Kate opened a fresh can of cola and poured it over the shield. The disruption was immediate and obvious. Dr. Roberts stared, his mouth hanging open. That's impossible. Are you telling me that common soft drinks can disrupt alien force field technology?" "Not just disrupt," Kate said, getting more excited as she checked the device's readings. "The carbonic acid is actually interfering with their energy matrix. The bubbles create microscopic gaps in the shield structure. With enough carbonated liquid, we might be able to completely disable their defensive systems." Dr. Roberts shook his head in disbelief. "This can't be real. Their technology is thousands of years ahead of ours. We're supposed to believe they never thought to test their shields against carbonated beverages." "Think about it," Kate said, pacing now as her mind raced. "They're a crystalline species. Their whole civilization is probably based on different chemical principles than ours. Maybe they never developed carbonated drinks because they had no use for them. It's like how some Earth animals can't process chocolate. The aliens might have never considered this kind of chemical combination because it's completely foreign to their experience." She grabbed her phone, already dialing Captain Walker's number. They had worked together before, and she knew he would listen, even to something this crazy. The phone rang 3 times before he answered. "Walker here." "Captain, it's Lieutenant Miller. I found something. It's going to sound completely insane, but I need you to come to the lab right now. And sir, bring more soda. All you can carry." There was a long pause on the other end. "Lieutenant, we have less than 30 hours before the aliens start wiping out humanity. Please tell me this is important." Kate looked at the fizzing shield, a smile spreading across her face. "Sir, I think I just found a way to win this war. And the best part, the weapon we need is already in every grocery store, vending machine, and restaurant on Earth." As she hung up the phone, Kate couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. Humanity's best defense against an advanced alien empire wasn't nuclear weapons, advanced AI, or some secret military project. It was carbonated sugar water. Sometimes, she thought, the universe had a weird sense of humor. The UN Emergency Council room was packed with military leaders, scientists, and government officials. Captain Tom Walker stood next to Lieutenant Kate Miller as she finished explaining her discovery. The room remained silent for a long moment, then erupted into chaos. "This is ridiculous," shouted a general from Russia. "You want us to fight an alien invasion with soft drinks?" "With all due respect," Kate replied, holding up a can of soda, "this ridiculous plan is the only one we have that actually works." She gestured to the alien shield device on the table, now crackling with disruptions from her earlier demonstration. Tom stepped forward. "I've seen it myself. The carbonation somehow interferes with their shield technology. It's not just soft drinks. Any carbonated liquid has some effect. The more carbonation, the stronger the disruption." The UN Secretary General rubbed his temples. "Even if this works, how do we get enough carbonated beverages to fight an alien army? We can't exactly ask them to wait while we stockpile Coca-Cola." "Actually," Kate said, pulling up a presentation on the room's main screen, "I've been working on that. Earth produces over 200 billion liters of carbonated drinks each year. If we redirect all production and tap into existing stockpiles." She pulled up a global map showing major beverage manufacturing plants. "We can have enough to launch a coordinated attack within 24 hours. I've already contacted the major beverage companies. They're ready to help." Turns out that they're not keen on alien invasion either. Tom watched as the room's mood shifted from skepticism to cautious hope. The chief of the UN Defense Force leaned forward. "What exactly are you proposing, Lieutenant?" "Operation Fizz," Kate said, clicking to the next slide. "We modify crop-dusting aircraft and fire trucks to spray carbonated liquid. The high pressure will actually help maintain carbonation levels. We target their ship's shield generators first. Once those are down, our conventional weapons should work." "We'll need a distraction," Tom added. "Something to keep them focused on our regular military, while we deploy the beverage bombers." A scientist raised his hand. "What about temperature?" "Carbonation works better when cold. We could use liquid nitrogen to supercool the liquid just before spraying." The room was now fully engaged, military minds adapting to this strange new form of warfare. Plans were drawn up, logistics calculated. The beverage industry executives were brought in via video conference, their factories already switching to 24-hour production. "One more thing," Kate said, pulling out a small vial. "We've been experimenting with different formulas. Adding certain chemicals can enhance the effect. Mint extract seems to create an especially strong reaction. I suggest we focus on producing mint-flavored drinks for the main assault." The UN Secretary General stood up. "Ladies and gentlemen, I never thought I'd say this, but it seems humanity's best hope lies in soft drinks. Let's make it happen." Authorization granted for Operation Fizz. As the meeting broke up into action teams, Tom pulled Kate aside. "You know how crazy this sounds, right?" Kate smiled. "Sometimes crazy is all you've got. Besides, imagine the history books. Earth saved by carbonated beverages. Nobody's going to believe it." They walked to the window, looking up at the crystalline ships still hovering over the city. In warehouses and factories across the world, production lines were being modified, trucks were being loaded, and pilots were being briefed on the strangest mission of their lives. 20 hours until their deadline," Tom said quietly. "Think we'll be ready?" "We have to be," Kate replied, opening another can of soda. "You know what's funny? I always felt guilty about drinking so much of this stuff. Who knew it would end up saving the world?" In the distance, they could see military vehicles moving into position, disguised tanker trucks full of carbonated liquid instead of fuel. Somewhere up there, the aliens were waiting for Earth's surrender, completely unaware that humanity's dumbest possible weapon was about to become their biggest nightmare. The countdown to Operation Fizz had begun. The deadline passed without Earth's surrender. The crystal ships began to glow with an ominous light. In New York, the first alien energy beam lanced down from their ship, aimed at the Empire State Building. But before it could strike, Operation Fizz began. From behind clouds and buildings, hundreds of modified crop dusters and fire trucks emerged. The pilots, many trying not to laugh at the absurdity of their mission, activated their spray systems. Jets of super-cooled, mint-flavored soda shot into the air, creating a sparkling mist around the alien ship. Tom watched from the command center as the first drops hit the alien shields. The effect was immediate. Rainbow-colored disruptions spread across the force field like cracks in a frozen lake. The alien's energy beam flickered and died. "It's working," Kate shouted, watching the sensor readings. "Their shield strength is dropping. All units, concentrate fire on Section 7. Above the city, the alien ship's crystal surface began to pulse with angry red light. Small fighter craft, looking like shards of glass, poured out from launch bays. They dove toward Earth's aircraft, expecting to easily destroy such primitive vessels. Instead, they flew straight into clouds of pressurized cola. Their shields sputtered and failed. Some pilots panicked, their ships crashing into each other. Others retreated, clearly confused by what was happening to their supposedly impenetrable defenses. "This is Red Leader," a pilot's voice crackled over the radio. "You're not going to believe this, but we're actually pushing them back. The soda spray is working better than we expected. These aliens have never seen anything like this." In the alien command ship, visible through its transparent hull, crystalline figures could be seen moving in obvious agitation. A booming voice echoed across the city. "What is this primitive trickery? Your carbonated weapons cannot defeat the mighty stellar empire." "Want to bet?" Kate muttered, ordering another wave of aircraft forward. This time, they carried a new weapon: frozen carbon dioxide bombs, designed to release enormous clouds of carbonation on impact. The bombs struck the alien ship's hull, creating massive disruptions in their shield matrix. Military observers around the world reported similar scenes. In London, fire trucks sprayed lifted torrents of fizzy drinks into the air. In Tokyo, modified vending machines had been turned into carbonated weapon platforms. In Rio, massive tankers usually used for carnival celebrations now sprayed soda instead of water. The aliens attempted to retaliate, but their weapons kept failing as shields collapsed under the sugary assault. Their crystal fighters, when hit with the spray, began to develop small cracks and had to retreat. It seemed the carbonation wasn't just affecting their shields, it was interfering with their very technology. "Captain," a technician called out to Tom, "we're picking up massive energy fluctuations from their main ship. I think their central shield generator is about to fail." Tom watched the massive display screen as the alien vessel's shield flickered like a dying light bulb. "All units, this is it. Maximum spray, all positions." A final coordinated spray from all directions engulfed the ship in a cloud of carbonated mist. The shield collapsed with a visible shockwave that rattled windows across the city. For a moment, the massive crystal ship hung unprotected in the air. Then, to everyone's surprise, it began to rise, retreating higher into the atmosphere. Similar reports came in from around the globe. The alien ships were withdrawing, their mighty shields defeated by humanity's most unlikely weapon. The command center erupted in cheers. Kate hugged Tom, both of them soaked in sticky soda from earlier tests. "We did it. We actually did it." "Don't celebrate yet," Tom cautioned, though he was smiling. "They're retreating, but they're not defeated. This was just their first wave. They'll be back, and next time they'll be ready for our unique defense strategy." Kate picked up a can of soda from her desk, raised it in a toast. "Then we'll just have to get more creative. I'm thinking about what happens when you drop a roll of mint candy into a bottle of Diet Cola. Want to help me run some tests?" Tom looked at the fizzy drink, then at the retreating alien ship, and laughed. The first battle for Earth had been won with soft drinks. He couldn't wait to see what they'd come up with next. 3 days after the first battle, the Stellar Empire returned. This time, their ships looked different, covered in strange, dark coating that glistened in the sunlight. A massive fleet of over 50 crystal vessels appeared in Earth's orbit, far more than before. In the UN Defense Force Command Center, Kate studied the sensor readings with growing concern. "They've modified their shields," she said to Tom. "Look at these energy patterns. They're trying to neutralize the carbonation effect." "Will our soda weapons still work?" Tom asked, watching the alien ships descend through the atmosphere. "Maybe, but we'll need something stronger." Kate pulled up the latest test results on her tablet. "Lucky for us, I haven't been sleeping much. Remember what I said about mint candy and Diet Cola?" Before she could explain further, the alien commander's voice boomed across all communication channels. "Primitive humans, your fizzy weapon caught us by surprise once. We have studied it, adapted to it. Now you will witness the true power of the stellar empire." The lead ship fired a new type of beam, not at the buildings, but at the streets below. Where it hit, the ground instantly crystallized, spreading like frost on a window. People ran as cars, trees, and even fire hydrants turned into crystal statues. "They're not just trying to defeat us now," Tom said grimly. "They're trying to transform our world to match theirs." Kate grabbed his arm. "Quick, to the lab. I figured something like this might happen. Time for Plan B." In her lab, dozens of scientists were already hard at work. Large tanks bubbled with various combinations of carbonated drinks. "Regular soda isn't enough anymore," Kate explained, leading Tom to a special testing chamber. "But watch this." She took a bottle of Diet Cola, dropped in 3 mint candies, and quickly sealed it in a containment unit. The reaction was explosive, far more powerful than regular soda. The resulting spray created weird, rainbow-colored patterns in the air. "The artificial sweeteners react differently with the mint," Kate explained. "Add some caffeine and a specific ratio of citric acid, and you get something that doesn't just disrupt their shields. It scrambles their entire crystalline technology." Tom stared at the fizzing mixture. "How soon can we produce enough?" "Already started. Every diet soda factory on Earth has switched to this formula. We're calling it Crystal Cracker." The marketing team insisted on the name. Above them, the alien ships began their attack in earnest. Their crystallization beams swept across cities, but this time Earth was ready. Modified fire trucks sprayed the new formula into the air. Where the enhanced soda met the crystal effects, it created spectacular reactions, like fireworks made of dissolving rainbow crystals. The aliens pressed their attack, sending down crystal warriors, 8-foot-tall beings that walked on legs of pure crystal. But they hadn't counted on human ingenuity. Police forces had been equipped with pressurized soda guns, turning street battles into something that looked more like a child's water fight than a war. In orbit, Earth's satellites caught an amazing sight. The alien ship's new protective coating was failing, dissolving under the enhanced carbonation attacks. Their attempts to crystallize Earth's cities backfired as the mix of mint and Diet Cola created chain reactions that turned their own weapons against them. "Their main computer systems are crashing," Kate announced, watching the data stream in. "They never expected to face anything like this. Their artificial intelligence can't process what's happening. It's like giving a calculator a divide by zero error." The alien commander's voice came again, but this time it sounded confused, almost frightened. "This is impossible. Your primitive beverages cannot defeat our superior technology. We are the stellar empire. We cannot be defeated by fizzy drinks." But they were being defeated. All across Earth, the enhanced soda formula was proving too much for their crystalline technology. Their ships began to retreat, some of them sprouting crystal growths from where the spray had hit them. Others simply flickered like bad television reception before vanishing into the upper atmosphere. Tom looked at Kate. "You know what this means. We've not just found their weakness. We've found a way to actually hurt their technology. They won't be able to ignore this." Kate nodded, already working on new calculations. "And I'm not done yet. Wait until they see what happens when we add pop rocks to the mixture. The world's soft drink industry had transformed into a military operation. Every beverage factory on Earth now produced weapons-grade carbonated drinks. Scientists from different countries shared their formulas, each adding their own twist to the carbonated arsenal. In Japan, green tea scientists had created a special mixture of carbonated matcha that could dissolve crystal structures in seconds. British engineers had developed a supercharged fizzy lemonade that could short-circuit alien communication systems. Indian laboratories had come up with a spicy cola variant that created electromagnetic disruptions in alien technology. Kate stood in the main UN laboratory, surrounded by bubbling tanks of experimental beverages. Her original formula had been improved upon dozens of times, each variation more effective than the last. On screens around her, she watched the global defense network at work. The Russians just reported success with their new carbonated energy drink mixture, Tom said, walking in with a tablet displaying the latest reports. They're calling it Crystal Crusher. Apparently, it works even in sub-zero temperatures. Before Kate could respond, the emergency alarms blared. The alien fleet had returned for their third and largest attack. This time, they brought their biggest weapon, a massive crystalline mothership that dwarfed all their previous vessels. "Look at the size of that thing," Tom whispered, watching the main screen. The mothership was easily visible from the ground, its crystal surface reflecting sunlight like a second moon. The alien commander's voice thundered across all frequencies. "You have forced us to take extreme measures. Our world crystallizer will transform your entire planet. Your oceans will become crystal seas. Your atmosphere will carry crystal spores. Earth will become a perfect crystal world, suitable for proper civilization." Kate grabbed her phone, quickly connecting to the global defense network. "Everyone, this is exactly what we've been preparing for. Execute Operation Global Fizz. Now." Around the world, humanity launched its counterattack. Thousands of aircraft took off, carrying tanks of the latest carbonated formulas. Modified weather satellites released special clouds seeded with carbonation particles. Every city's fire suppression system had been converted to spray carbonated mixtures. The aliens started their crystallization process, sending down beams of energy that began transforming everything they touched. But they hadn't expected Earth's coordinated response. As their beams hit the carbonated clouds, they created spectacular chemical reactions in the sky. "They're trying to hack our computers," someone shouted from the control room. Kate smiled. They had prepared for this too. "Let them in," she ordered. "Let's see how their crystal-based AI handles our data." The alien systems encountered something they had never seen before. Computer code written entirely in cola formulas and carbonation ratios. Their logical processors tried to analyze Earth's beverage-based algorithms and began crashing in confusion. In orbit, the mothership's crystal surface started showing signs of stress. The combined effect of thousands of different carbonated formulas was creating chaos in their systems. Wherever their crystallization beams met Earth's fizzy defense screen, the reactions created auroras of dissolving crystal. "Their main computer core is overloading," Kate announced, watching the readings. "They can't process what's happening. It's like their entire worldview is being dissolved in soda." The mothership's attempts to transform Earth were backfiring spectacularly. Their own crystalline technology began to transform in unexpected ways. Beautiful but chaotic patterns spread across their ship's surfaces, like ice crystals melting in reverse. Tom watched in amazement as the alien fleet began to fall into disarray. Some ships started sprouting what looked like crystal sugar formations. Others began to bubble like giant carbonated drinks themselves. The mothership's perfect crystalline structure was developing cracks, its surface fizzing like a giant dropped soda can. "This is impossible." The alien commander's voice crackled, distorting with static. "How can such a primitive solution defeat our perfect crystal technology? We are the stellar empire. We cannot be defeated by carbonated chaos." Kate looked at the readings and smiled. Actually, that's exactly what's happening. Your perfect order is being undone by our fizzy chaos. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best ones. As the alien fleet retreated in disarray, their perfectly ordered crystal technology thoroughly disrupted by Earth's carbonated defense, humanity realized something important. They had not just found a way to fight back. They had discovered the aliens' fundamental weakness. The Stellar Empire's greatest strength, their rigid, crystalline perfection, was also their greatest vulnerability. 1 week after the failed attack of the mothership, the Stellar Empire requested peace talks. This time, they chose a neutral location, a space station halfway between Earth's orbit and their fleet's position. Tom and Kate represented Earth, along with a small team of diplomats and scientists. They also brought several cases of various sodas, much to the aliens' visible distress. The crystal beings who entered the meeting room looked different from their first appearance. Their once perfect surfaces showed slight imperfections, little rainbow-colored spots where they had been exposed to Earth's carbonated weapons. The alien commander, still impressive at 8 feet tall, seemed to move more carefully now, as if worried about exposure to any stray fizzy drinks. "We have reconsidered our position regarding Earth," the commander announced, their voice lacking its former arrogance. "Our analysis suggests that continuing this conflict would be unproductive." Kate set a can of orange soda on the table, making several aliens flinch. "That's one way to put it. Would you like to know what we discovered about the reaction between pop rocks and your crystal technology?" "That will not be necessary," the commander said quickly. "We are prepared to offer terms. Earth will be classified as a protected independent world. No Empire ships will enter your solar system without permission. We will share some of our technology as a gesture of goodwill." Tom tried to hide his smile. "And in return, you will contain your carbonated weapons within your own solar system, and you will never, ever share the formula for what you call Diet Mint Cola with any other civilization." The human delegation huddled together, pretending to consider the offer. They had already decided to accept. This was exactly what they had hoped for. But making the Empire sweat a little seemed appropriate. "We accept," Tom finally announced, with one addition. "We want official recognition of Earth's status as a sovereign world in the galactic community." The commander agreed almost too quickly. As the documents were being prepared, a younger alien approached Kate cautiously. "How did you discover our weakness? Our scientists still cannot explain it." Kate shrugged. "Sometimes the best discoveries happen by accident. I spilled my drink on your shield generator. The rest was just science and creativity. And lots of sugar." The peace treaty was signed, and as the aliens prepared to leave, the commander turned back one last time. "You should know, word of this has spread through the galaxy. Your world is becoming known as the planet that defeated the mighty Stellar Empire with beverages. Some find this quite amusing." "Could be worse," Tom replied. "At least you weren't defeated by hot dogs or bubble gum." The aliens left quickly after that, perhaps worried that humans might start getting more ideas about food-based weapons. As their ships disappeared into deep space, celebrations broke out across Earth. Humanity had not only survived its first interstellar war, it had won it in the most unlikely way possible. In the months that followed, things changed on Earth. The UN established a strategic beverage reserve, storing vast quantities of carbonated drinks in secure facilities. The soft drink industry was officially classified as part of the defense sector. Kate's original orange soda became the most expensive drink in the galaxy, with collectors offering millions for a single can. Tom found Kate in her lab one evening, still working on new formulas. "You know," he said, "I heard some alien traders are offering a fortune for Earth's soft drink recipes. Apparently, there's a black market for carbonated weapons now." Kate laughed, holding up a test tube of fizzing liquid. "Let them try to figure it out. I just discovered what happens when you add popping candy to carbonated energy drinks. Want to see?" "Maybe later," Tom said, looking out the window at the night sky. "You know what's funny? Humans spent centuries wondering how we'd fare against advanced alien civilizations. We imagined epic space battles, advanced technology, heroic last stands. Nobody ever guessed we'd save the world with soda. The universe has a sense of humor, Kate replied, raising a can of her favorite orange soda in a toast. To humanity, the species that turned soft drinks into superweapons. Somewhere out in space, the Stellar Empire was updating its military manuals, adding a new chapter about the dangers of carbonated beverages. And in the galactic community, Earth gained a new reputation, not just as the world that defeated the mighty empire, but as a reminder that sometimes the greatest power comes from the most unexpected places.